This is from the book The Warrior Within, The Philosophies of Bruce Lee to Better Understand the World Around You and Achieve a Rewarding Life by John Little. And I think it's a really cool book. And I'm going to read Chapter 10, Stress Release. And I've done these exercises at times in the past, and it was always extremely beneficial. So I hope you find this beneficial in some way. Chapter 10, Stress Release. In keeping with his observance of the principles of yin-yang, Bruce Lee held that the mind and body were two halves of one totality. In other words, mental well-being has to be balanced by its complementary physical well-being. To this end, Lee's personal philosophy evolved with an eye toward maximizing both components of the greater whole. An integral facet in the cultivation of these two constituents is the relief of both physical and mental stress, which Lee considered obstacles that stopped up the natural and universal flow of life. Unplugging these blockages through physical activity, according to Lee, resulted in a more joyous and stress-free existence. The late pioneer of stress research, Dr. Hans Selye, went on record as stating that mental stress can lead to a host of physical malfunctions, ranging from heart attacks to alcoholism and obesity. Conversely, Sell believed the relief of stress can go a long way toward relieving such problems. People associate stress with work and noise, but stress is also caused by intense exercise, the threat of physical danger, and injury such as a cut finger or the sight of an old friend. Selye discovered that the body reacts the same to pleasure and success. Let me read that again. Selye discovered that the body reacts the same to pleasure and success, failure and sadness. In other words, what we perceive as good and bad experiences can and do cause stress, and in fact, everyone is under some degree of stress even when asleep. Stress, then, correctly defined, is simply the wear and tear upon the body of life experiences, and its effects depend on how successfully we are able to dissipate the energy such experiences cause our bodies to accumulate. Certainly, the release of these dammed up emotions on a regular basis is beneficial, and clearly exercise is the best means to this end. We know, for example, that we live in a mechanical push-button age in which everything is done for us. We ride on escalators and in elevators, cars, buses, and taxis. We sit in front of our television sets with remote control in hand for hours on end. Life is movement, as the famed European strongman and author Eugene Sandow once pointed out, and unless we use our muscles, we will deteriorate and become old before our time. A lack of exercise actually slows down the circulation of our blood and deprives our cells of sufficient oxygen to function optimally. Many people who suffer from chronic fatigue have indicated that they actually feel too tired to exercise, but by releasing their tension through activity, they invariably find that their energy levels have increased along with their stamina and that they feel more energetic afterward. The mind-body connection. It was no accident that Bruce Lee was one of the most vital human beings to ever walk the planet. He was constantly exercising in an attempt to realize the absolute limits of his physical potential. Lee's passion for training stemmed from the realization that with each progression he made physically, he was learning more about himself spiritually, in terms of adding to his understanding of both his limits and his capabilities. This resulted in a more heightened state of self-knowledge, or in Lee's term, spiritual awareness. Lee told interviewer Ted Thomas in 1971, "The most important thing to me is how, in the process of learning how to use my body, can I come to understand myself." While Lee was an ardent physical fitness aficionado, It is beyond the scope of this book to delve deeply into his complete approach to training, health, and physical fitness. For our purpose, we will do better to focus here on one single but very important aspect of Lee's physical fitness regime: static contraction, and its role in the dissipation of stress. Static contraction. Lee placed a high premium on the value of static contraction exercise, not only recommending it specifically for his students, but also incorporating it into his own training. It is certainly one of the easiest answers for anybody who is looking for a more convenient way to be physically fit. Anyone from child to senior citizen can benefit from Lee's program of static contraction exercises. And in terms of convenience, it's truly a method of exercise that has no peer. And all it takes is a total of 3 minutes a day. On a side note, when I did this, I took a lot longer, and I'm fine with that. I took 10-15 minutes, and I took breaks when I wanted to, and I just took my time. And you can certainly do it, I guess, in 3 minutes, but my experience was I like to go a little bit slower, and I'm also not in the best shape all the time, but it was nicer for me that way. But best wishes regardless. Another convenience factor to consider is that these simple exercises can be performed anywhere and at any time. You can do them in your bedroom, hotel room, or living room, and under almost any conditions. Lee's personal program of static contraction requires no real skill to speak of. It doesn't take much practice, and in fact, it's one of those rare activities that you actually can do well the very first time. It is also a private activity, and like running, of which Lee was also an ardent devotee, the competition, so to speak, is against only yourself. The sessions are short, and the results are quick to reveal themselves. There exists no need to change into expensive workout clothing, and there is no perspiration as an exercise with movement. Additional pluses are that there are no fancy exercise machines you need to purchase, nor any hefty membership fees to lay out to join the local health club. As for the time investment, nothing has yet to compare with this simple and yet highly effective form of exercise, as again, only 3 minutes of exercise performed every morning will increase your overall health to a remarkable degree. The benefits. The benefits to be attained from the performance of these simple movements are many. Properly performed static contraction exercise will effectively exercise the body, mind, and chi forces, or vital energy, within us. In exercising the body, it relaxes all the major muscle groups with gentle, slow, and sustained contractions and relaxations, which can go from simple to complex depending on individual preference and intensity generated. Regular static contraction exercise will further serve to strengthen the muscles, ligaments, and tendons. It also strengthens the heart, which is itself a muscle, and will improve the circulation of the blood to the extremities. In exercising the mind, each movement focuses the attention on the body part that is being targeted. Thereby shutting out all distracting thoughts, and thus relaxing the mind while improving mental focus. With regard to cultivating our warrior or chi forces within, the performance of these movements will deepen our breathing to the abdominal area as opposed to the more conventional chest area. The advantage of using the diaphragm area rather than the chest when inhaling and exhaling air is simply that the former method empties the lungs and fills them more efficiently and thoroughly. The practical medical benefits of this are obvious, but the effects of the exercise on the beginner go much further. By breathing in deeply through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, taking care all the while that the chest remains still and unexerted, and that the stomach does the work, the individual can increase his flow of qi with all the advantages of powerful inner calm that it supplies. These movements also exert a powerful effect on our central nervous system, as one must concentrate the mind, freed of distractions, seek tranquility during relaxation, and apply consciousness when contracting the muscles. Such tensing and relaxing can be accomplished only under the direction of the brain, which in turn affects the central nervous system. Additional benefit is worked upon the circulatory and respiratory systems, internally affecting the vital energy and externally the muscles, bones, and skin. Respiration should be deep, long, natural, and gentle, concentrated on the lower abdominal area, or what the Chinese call the dantian region, and an even and regular respiration that combines movement of the diaphragm and abdominal muscles. Such movement improves blood circulation, dilates the coronary arteries, and strengthens oxidation. Although Bruce Lee himself performed many variations of static contraction exercise from tensometers to power rack isometric programs, certainly the program selected as the focal point of this chapter is one of the most convenient and effective for the purposes of stress release. It consists of a mere 4 static contraction exercises plus 2 conventional exercises for a total of 6 movements altogether. The beauty of this program, apart from its brevity, is the wide range of benefits that it provides. Plus, it's recommended that you perform it in the comfort of your own bed. I did do it in my bed, and it's fine like that and perfectly good. I also did it on the floor on an exercise mat and whatnot, and it works very well too. But yeah, it does. For me, it worked really well on my bed as well, as long as I have room to stretch my arms above my head. This form of exercise can be as mild or as severe as you desire. If you are already quite fit, make the contractions maximal, as hard as you can squeeze. If you are far from fit or somewhere in between, just perform these movements by tensing the muscles until firm and then sustaining this contraction for the prescribed period of time. Also, I'm not a doctor or a medical person, so talk to your doctor and all that good stuff, because I'm not one. The program. According to Bruce Lee's own directions, every day before getting out of bed, the student is to perform the following static contraction routine. Number 1, full body stretch. Perform 5 full body stretches. Extend your legs as far as you can in one direction and reach your arms as far as possible in the opposite direction. Maintain each stretch for 3 seconds and then relax for 2 seconds. Total time 25 seconds. On this one, when I extended my legs, I sometimes moved my feet like this angle, and then sometimes moved my feet this angle. That's just what made sense to me. Sometimes move my feet upwards, like towards the ceiling, and sometimes pointing them downwards. So that's just what I did. Back arches. Perform 5 back arches. Bend your legs until the backs of your thighs are just touching the backs of your upper calves, and then slowly push your hips upward toward the ceiling while simultaneously flexing your buttocks muscles and pushing gently with your legs. Maintain each arch for 3 seconds and then relax for 2 seconds. Total time 25 seconds. And again, for the seconds, I really took a couple minutes, for each thing, depending, and it was good for me because I had the time and it was more thorough, and that's just what worked for me. So I don't trip at all over this 3-minute thing. So that's just me. You have your own experience. Number 3, leg tensing. Perform 12 leg tenses. Slowly extend your legs as far as you can and then tighten the muscles of your thighs. Maintain this fully contracted position for 3 seconds and then relax for 2 seconds. Total time 60 seconds. And you don't want to stress your muscles. Pain is obviously a sign that something is wrong and you need to back off. And you don't need to go hardcore, especially if you don't know yourself as well and all that, and take it slow and all that. Is my advice. Number 4, abdominal tensing. Perform 10 abdominal tenses. Deliberately and fully contract your abdominal muscles in a manner similar to what you would if, please forgive the imagery, you were having a bowel movement. Maintain this maximum contraction for 3 seconds and then relax for 2 seconds. Total time 50 seconds. Bruce Lee placed a considerable emphasis on the abdominal region, considering it to be the most important area to keep fit and healthy. In a newspaper interview in the early 1960s, Lee commented, "My strength comes from the abdomen. It is the center of gravity and the source of real power." At this part of the program, Lee recommended that the student taper off with 2 additional abdominal exercises performed in the standard or non-static contraction way. Number 5, sit-up touching toes. Perform 5 sit-up touching toes. Simply place your back flat upon your mattress with your legs fully extended in front of you and your arms extended behind your head. Now slowly raise your torso, reaching forward with your hands until they come into contact with your toes. Hold this position briefly and then return to the starting position. Total time 10 seconds. Now if it says slowly raise your torso and you're doing 5 of them, total time 10 seconds, I mean, I don't know how slow that is, but that's just me, and I don't need to comment anymore, and I think I'm going to be done after that. Bent leg raises. Perform 5 bent leg raises. Place your back flat upon your mattress with your arms outstretched behind your head. Slowly bend your legs and draw them up toward your chest, pausing briefly once they have been drawn as far back as possible. Return your legs to the starting position. Total time 10 seconds. That marks the end of the session. Total time 3 minutes, etc. It should be made clear at this point in the proceedings, however, that this is not an exercise routine that is geared to make you as lean, muscular, or powerful as Bruce Lee. Lee had specific exercises, and plenty of them, that he incorporated into his personal training routine to achieve specific fitness results that he, as a practicing martial artist, required. The exercises that I've just listed were prescribed by Bruce Lee simply as a very effective method of releasing stress from the body while simultaneously cultivating exceptional total health and fitness benefits for body, mind, and spirit. Hope you like that. Have a good day.